You know, I want to start off on the promise of 5G.
Yeah.
I've known your company a long time. I knew your predecessors. I can remember being with Lowell at the 5G lab, talking about, mobile edge computing, gaming, Internet of Things, private networks, medical uses for 5G. Yet here we are, and it feels as though all of these different revenue streams that were uniquely enabled by 5G haven't shown up yet. Why not?
If you look at 5G today, first of all, it's much faster than 4G came out to the public, much quicker. By year end, we will have more than around 60% of all our customers will have a 5G phone in their hand. That's extremely fast. So you build the ecosystem first. And secondly, fixed wireless access today, which we do broadband to home, is based on 5G. That's two unique business cases. On top of that, I mean, you mentioned a couple of them, 5G mobile edge compute, where you bring sort of the computing to the edge of the network on 5G. That's starting to happen. We're selling private 5G networks. So we're coming into the second era of 5G, when you have built out the network, the penetration of the ecosystem, I mean, devices, etc., is happening, and now you start the innovation. And that's what you see right now. And
is it moving slower than you thought?
No, it's actually moving faster than I thought. Which
even when you made your plan years ago in terms of coming in.
The difference is that, of course, people like me, we speak about thought leadership in the beginning, but really it's actually rolling out quicker. People are picking up 5G quicker. The network is rolling out quicker. So it's actually happening. Revenue generation is usually coming a little bit after, but think about that. I have 2/3 of my customer on unlimited, and basically 40% of all my consumers, I have the biggest consumer base in the market, they have unlimited premium, and that's 5G. So 40% already has gone to unlimited premium in order to use 5G.
But what about all these enterprise uses that we were talking about, that I just listed for you?
Yeah.
I mean, when are we, Internet of Things or mobile edge computing, when are we going to really start to see that?
What we see right now is a deployment of private 5G networks. That means that either a manufacturing facility or a logistics factory, they're putting it up a 5G network in order for security, higher reliability, higher speeds, and data throughput. That's what they're doing. And the next step, they start putting application in the cloud in that private 5G network. So that is a progression as a normal enterprise business. So it's happening as we speak. We have announced several new deals with private 5G networks. We're collaborating with all the hyperscalers, which are bringing the cloud infrastructure to our radio network.
Right.
So we have Google, we have Apple, and Microsoft all working with us to meet that market demand that is totally new.
You know, I'm not the only one asking this question, though, and I'll refer to Bank of America, a recent research report. They talked about Verizon's early moves in 4G and how much it paid off. It was market moving. Verizon gambled, though, again, they say, in the last several years that 5G would give birth to a similar degree of novel consumer and or business demand. It has not. Verizon's understandable fixation, therefore, on what is next led it down a path where, unfortunately, it now falls short on what is now. How do you respond to that?
If I look to my 5G business right now, I mean, as I said, 40% of my consumer base in my premium segment are actually having an unlimited premium, which is the 5G. So, and I have, by year end, we're going to have almost 60% of all our customers on a 5G phone. That's far quicker than 4G. And for me, that's monetization. Going from a metered plan to an unlimited plan to an unlimited premium plan. That's how we work, both by creating growth, but of course, meeting our consumer demands for different new services. And then we top that by including new values like the Apple One that is exclusive to us, where you get the Apple iPhone 14 together with all the Apple services. And then you get more value enhancement in that value chain. So it's much more about segmentation in different buckets in our marketplace. And we are by far the largest consumer business when it comes to wireless, all the way from the value segment with the lowest prepaid plan to the highest. Our job is to see that we meet the consumers in every area of that, both for us to grow, but also give the customers and the consumers the right value proposition.
But you're not growing right now. I mean, you know, and in fact, I think when I look back, you had postpaid ARPU down 1.5% year over year. You've lost market share in every quarter since the second quarter of 2020. what is going to get you back on a growth track?
So we need to define what the market is. So if I look at my wireless business customers, I add 150,000 new phone net adds every quarter. I've done that in 4 consecutive quarters. So I gain market share with all the business customers, all the way from government, large enterprises, small and medium. So really there. Where I had some softness was in the premium segment for consumer in the second quarter, which we talked about, which we have addressed right now with a new welcome plan, which is addressing that tier. And as I said here at this event, that we have seen good traction both in our stores the last 2 months. We have seen gross ads coming in the last 2 months, sequentially or month-to-month growth. So we see that the things we're bringing to market is coming in and actually making a difference. So we feel confident.
I mean, I wonder, how do you balance needing to be promotional in a very competitive marketplace with the desire on the part of your investors here at this conference and everywhere else for free cash flow generation, for EBITDA growth?
Yeah.
How do you balance that? Because things seem to be better in terms of adding subs when you're promotional and not as good when you're not.
Yeah, but if you look at our EBITDA, this year we took down our guidance in the second quarter to be flat to minus 1.5%. That still means that we're going to do somewhere between $47 to $48 billion in EBITDA, which is way higher than anybody in the industry, double some of the guys in the market. So we are thinking a lot about balance between getting new customers, but at the same time creating this cash flow that is so important for our capital allocation, for our dividend that we've increased 16 consecutive years. We just increased it 2% again. We want to put our board in a place so they can actually do that for our shareholders. So I think we have a really good model. Then there can be quarters where we lose a little bit on net adds in the consumer segment, but we want to be disciplined. We want to be surgical, and where we acquire new customers and seeing that it's actually value accretive.
But you know, Hans, we've obviously had a long-running conversation, you and I have again with some of your predecessors. The value proposition that you have relied on to a certain extent has been the network. In 4G, it was clear. It doesn't seem as clear now moving into 5G. When I've looked at these various surveys, T-Mobile now is starting to rank very high, in fact, higher than Verizon on 5G, not overall, because obviously 4G is still an important part of it, but when it comes to speed, coverage, reliability. So what's the value proposition
so
for the Verizon
measurement
customer?
there is out is Root Metrics, which is the third-party measurement. And as far as I know, we have won that for 15 consecutive years. That's the most important measurement.
There's a bunch of others, though, that you don't
they
win.
are user-generated. This is the real when you actually use the same phones and the same network. And this is right now. And on top of that, of course, we're building out our C-band that we get access to in the beginning of the year. We have now passed 150 million pops with our C-band, which is the mid-band for 5G, really powerful.
You spent a lot of money on that
We spent
C-band.
a lot of money, but it's definitely going to make a big difference for our customers. And what we see right now on the C-band, which we deployed that in different markets, our step-up ratios going up, meaning our customers are going up to higher plans. So we see definitely there's a correlation between our 5G and our continued excelling in our network performance and having the best network. It's paying off.
You don't look back and regret at all the reliance on 5G millimeter wave and sort of what you focused on there and how much it obviously cost you to buy the C-band?
No, and we have built the best assets in the market. I wouldn't change it for anything. The millimeter wave is the cheapest way to transport data that you can ever find. We take that in urban and dense areas to see that we unleash other spectrum. So it's a way to use the capital in the most cost-efficient way. So I think we have just gathered the best assets. We have also acquired track phones, so we have over 20 million prepaid subscribers or value segment. We decided to divest Verizon Media Group, so we're a very clean company. We have a clear strategy where the network is supporting all our customer groups. So I have more to do, but I feel really confident what we're doing and how it's actually paying off.
Yeah. But how do you communicate with your investors right now? Obviously, you just did here at the Goldman Sachs conference that we're at. But you know, the stock's flat for 10 years. It hasn't outperformed the S&P. It hasn't even outperformed the communications group. It's lagged both. You have a strong dividend yield, but in part because the stock's down so much. I mean, what do you tell frustrated shareholders right now who may hear you talking about potential growth in the future, but have not yet seen it for a while?
We need to remember we have grown our beta every year up till last year. So yeah, I think we have been growing. We have been growing our top line as well. We are a little bit pressed this year. We're going to grow this year, but it's more of inorganic as we're both TracFone, but we're going to grow our service revenue this year.
Are you disappointed, though, in the performance of the stock price then? Or is it a reflection of not what you're saying, but what I'm saying?
I think the stock price is always hard to judge for me. I mean, I think what we are doing is really to make value enhancement. And, of course, very focused on our cash generation, which were best in the market. And that's why we're really trying to think about how we allocate that capital in the best way and then start growing our business again. So many things are actually coming together for us this year. We got the Spectrum this year. We got TracFone this year. We divested Verizon Media Group. We have a 5-year outlook that we really are focused on to continue to grow. We have more vectors to grow than anybody else. We have fixed wireless access, we have mobile edge compute, we have mobility, and many things that we can grow on the same network.
So the promise of 5G that we've talked about for years is still coming. And you are confident it's going to be delivered.
Coming, it's actually here. And many of the things I said in the beginning, it's actually happened. I mean, almost 60% of my customers have a 5G phone.
I know, and it's great. I can pick my phone up and things can be quicker. But what we talked about were the ancillary revenue streams that would be created. The same way they were as a result of the introduction of 4G that we didn't expect.
Mainly first in the enterprise segment, and we're going to see that with private networks, and we're already seeing it. But to scale it is probably 2 to 3 years left for scale the enterprise solution that getting really big. But I see this happening, and I've already seen it on consumer side. As I said, unlimited premium is a 5G service for us, and that's where almost 40% of our customers are already subscribed.
Right. You know, I pointed this out on TV. I don't know if it means anything to you or not. You know, T-Mobile now has a larger market cap than does Verizon. Does that bother you?
My job is to continue to develop Verizon and see that we are the most successful telecom carrier in the market, as we've been for many years. I'm going to continue to do that. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there that has coming and going. We have always been the leader. Our job is to continue to be the leader in the market in all aspects. So we're going to continue to execute on that.
All right, and just for our next interview's purposes, what should I judge you on? What should I be focused on in terms of you delivering on the promises you're making?
No, I think what you should look at us and see that we're accretive on our EBITDA over time. That's really where to focus on, and that will come with the growth on the top line as well. We're going to continue to segment the market and see that we're meeting our customer needs. We have fixed wireless access. We have a lot of different things coming into the market at the moment that we're scaling. So that I think you should judge me on.
And again, this idea of being promotional but being profitable, I know the two can coexist. But you know, how should we view that? Because AT&T looks like they're pretty aggressive in price. T-Mobile is fairly aggressive in price. You continue to rely, to a certain extent, on the strength of the network, as opposed to saying you're getting the best deal on Verizon.
Yeah. No, we're going to be disciplined in this area, and we want to be disciplined to see that we get the best customers, and our customer base is high quality, and we're going to continue to have that. And we're just going to come in and out with promotion when we see it's the right time to acquire customers, but we will not be there all the time.
And finally, let me just end with something that's a threat to the business that I work for, because Comcast owns, of course, CNBC. Fixed wireless, is that a real solution? You know, are you really seeing uptake there from people who replace their broadband, their wired broadband into the home with a fixed wireless solution?
The short answer is yes. We see month-to-month growth. We're opening more and more open for sale fixed wireless access. It's a great solution. I mean, it takes minutes from you get the home router to have broadband at home. It's just a new way to get your home broadband. We see people loving it, and the growth is great. I mean, we have been growing every quarter. We are growing the first 2 months in this quarter as well. We have month-to-month growth, and it's a really good service. And we talked about it for many years. Everybody said it's not going to work.
Well, I always question. I did. I mean, I remember questioning you about site of access, all these questions in terms of whether it would work.
All those issues we have sorted out, and now this is really working. It's a mass scaling. We're scaling nationwide broadband right now, which we have never been able to play in because we have Fios in certain states, which is also a great business. But this is really giving us a national broadband work. And then we can think about convergence, offering both mobile and home. And we have owner's economics on both of them because we have the full network. So I think that we have so many tools left to continue this iteration and continue to lead this market as Verizon has done all the time.
Hans, always appreciate it. Thank you for taking time.